The sickness came like fire across the Zephyrian homeworld. Dr. Lisa Venti watched helplessly as another patient died in her arms. The pale blue skin of her people had turned gray. Their beautiful singing voices could barely whisper. Lisa wiped tears from her large golden eyes. She had studied medicine for 30 years. She knew every herb, every treatment, every healing song of her people. Nothing worked against this plague. The disease attacked their nervous system and destroyed their ability to breathe. Most died within days of showing symptoms. The young doctor walked to the window of her medical center. Below her, the crystal spires of their capital city stood empty. No music filled the air. No children played in the gardens. The silence felt like death itself. Dr. Venti called her assistant. Council Leader Veltar wants to see you. Lisa nodded and made her way to the government building. The halls that once rang with laughter now echoed with her footsteps. She found Veltar in his office, staring at reports from across their world. "How many more today?" he asked, without looking up. 12,000, Lisa said softly. "The disease is spreading faster now. We have maybe 2 weeks before our medical system fails completely." Veltar was old, even by Zephyrian standards. His skin had the deep blue color of age, and his voice carried the wisdom of centuries. But today, he looked broken. "I have decided to send a message to the Galactic Assembly," he said. "We will ask for help. Andler. We will ask for help." Lisa felt a spark of hope. The Altarians have good doctors. Maybe the Centauri Federation. "No," Veltar interrupted. "I have already tried. The Altarians fear the disease will spread to their worlds. The Centauri say they are too far away. Other number. The others." He waved his hand weakly. "Then who?" "Everyone. I will broadcast on all channels. I will offer our most precious treasures, our crystal harmonics, our memory crystals containing 1,000 years of music and art. Someone must help us." 2 days later, Lisa stood beside Veltar in the communication center. The old leader looked into the camera with desperate eyes. "People of the galaxy," he began. "My name is Veltar, Council Leader of the Zephyrian Republic. My people are dying. A plague spreads across our world, and we cannot stop it. We have tried everything. Our doctors work day and night, but the disease is too strong." His voice broke slightly. "I offer everything we have. Our crystal harmonics that can heal minds. Our memory crystals with the wisdom of ages. Our floating gardens that feed millions. Take what you want. Just please. Send medical aid. Help us save our children." The message went out across the galaxy. For 3 days, only silence came back. A few species sent sympathy messages. The Rigelians offered prayers. The Vegan Confederacy promised to remember their music if they died out. But no ships came. On the 4th day, something changed. A message arrived that made Veltar call Lisa to his office immediately. "It's from Earth," he said, his golden eyes wide. "The humans." Lisa frowned. She knew little about humans. They were new to the Galactic Assembly, admitted only 5 years ago. "What do they say?" Veltar activated the message. A human woman appeared on the screen. She had dark hair pulled back and wore a white coat with strange symbols. Her brown eyes looked serious, but kind. "Council Leader Veltar," the human said. "My name is Dr. Min-Soo Jin. I lead the Human Medical Response Division. We received your message. We accept your request for medical assistance." Lisa gasped. Finally, someone would help. The human continued. "We are preparing a full medical response team. Our ships will arrive in your system within 10 days. We ask only that you provide us with detailed information about the disease and allow our doctors to work freely." Veltar was crying. They want no payment, nothing for themselves. But the message was not over. "There is one thing you should know. Dr. Min said. Our medical convoy will include military escort vessels. This is standard procedure for human medical corps operations. Do not be alarmed by their presence. They are there only to protect our medical mission. The message ended. Veltar and Lysa looked at each other with confusion. Military escort? Lysa asked. We are peaceful people. Why would they need weapons? Perhaps they fear pirates, Veltar suggested. Or maybe it's just their way. They had no time to worry about such things. For the first time in months, they had hope. The humans arrived exactly when they promised. Lysa watched the scanners as the fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of their system. What she saw made her heart sink. Veltar, she called, you need to see this. The old leader hurried to the scanner station. On the screen, they could see the human fleet. There were medical ships, clearly marked with red crosses. But with them came warships. Big ones. Count them, Veltar whispered. Lysa checked the readings twice. 6 medical vessels. 6 warships. Why? Veltar asked. We asked for doctors, not soldiers. Before anyone could answer, alarms began sounding throughout the command center. A technician called out in panic. Sir, we have multiple contacts jumping in system. It's a Korthak battle fleet. On the screens, they watched as massive Korthak warships appeared near their world. The Korthak Empire had been fighting border wars with several species for years. Their ships were built for destruction, covered in weapons and armor. The largest Korthak vessel began broadcasting. The voice that came through was deep and harsh. This is War Chief Brockmole of the Korthak Empire. Attention alien medical vessels. You are interfering in a territorial dispute. This system is under Korthak protection. Leave now or face the consequences. Lysa felt her hope crumble. They're going to drive away our only help, she said. Veltar stared at the screens. The small human medical fleet faced a Korthak armada 3 times their size. The humans would surely retreat. No one fought the Korthak, unless they had overwhelming force. Wait, the technician said. A new voice came over the communications. It was calm and confident. War Chief Brockmole, this is Captain Park Ji-1 of the Human Medical Corps. We are here on a humanitarian mission authorized by the Galactic Assembly. We do not seek conflict with your people. Brockmole's laugh was like grinding metal. Humanitarian mission? You bring warships to deliver medicine? Your deception is obvious. Humans. You seek to claim this system for yourselves. Negative, War Chief. Our warships are here to ensure our medical teams can work safely, nothing more. I do not believe you. You have 1 hour to leave this system. If you remain, we will destroy you. The communication ended. Lysa looked at the screens, showing the 2 fleets facing each other. The human medical ships continued moving toward their world. The warships moved into protective formation around them. They're not leaving, she whispered in amazement. Veltar watched the tactical display. But they cannot win. The Korthak fleet is too large. Maybe that's not the point, Lysa said slowly. The human doctor said their warships were there to protect the medical mission. Maybe they mean it. As they watched, the human fleet continued its approach to Zephyr. The medical ships maintained course for the planet, while the warships spread out in a defensive screen. For the first time in months, Lysa felt something she had almost forgotten. Not just hope for medicine and doctors, but hope that someone in the galaxy still believed some things were worth fighting for. The humans had surprised everyone. They didn't send medical aid instead of warships. They sent medical aid with warships. And they weren't backing down. Dr. Lysa Venthai stood in the empty council chamber with the other Zephyrian leaders. Outside, their people were dying while 2 alien fleets faced each other in space above their world. The humans had not backed down from the Korthak threat, but no one understood why they brought weapons to deliver medicine. Council leader Veltar activated the communication system. Doctor, Min Soo Jin. This is Zephyr Control. We need to speak with you urgently. The human doctor's face appeared on the screen. Even through the long-distance communication, Lysa could see the determination in her brown eyes. Council Leader Veltar, Dr. Min said, I understand your concern about our escort vessels. Let me explain something about human medical operations. Veltar leaned forward. Doctor, we are grateful for your help, but we are a peaceful people. We do not understand why you need warships to bring medicine. Dr. Min's expression grew serious. Council Leader, in my career, I have seen too many medical missions fail. Not because we lacked medicine or skill, but because we lacked security. I have watched doctors die trying to treat patients while under attack. I have seen hospitals bombed and medical supplies destroyed. She paused, and when she continued, her voice was firm. You cannot heal the sick if you are dead. You cannot save lives if you are under fire. Medical aid without security is just martyrdom with extra steps. Lysa felt confused. In Zephyrian culture, healing and violence were completely separate. Their doctors took vows never to harm any living being. But doctor, she said, stepping forward, how can you bring instruments of death to save life? It seems... Dr. Min looked directly at her. What is your name, doctor? Dr. Lisa Venthai. Dr. Venthai. Let me ask you something. If bandits attacked your hospital and threatened to kill your patients, what would you do? See. Lysa thought carefully. I would. Try to reason with them. Explain that we are healers. And if reasoning failed, if they continued to threaten innocent lives, Lysa struggled with the question. I don't know. No. That's the difference between our species, Dr. Min said gently. Humans learned long ago that sometimes, to protect life, you must be willing to fight death. Our warships are not there to conquer or destroy. They are there to create safe space for healing. Another voice joined the conversation. This is Captain Park G1. Dr. Min speaks the truth. Our ships have one mission. Ensure our medical teams can work without interference. Captain Park appeared on a second screen. She wore a dark blue uniform and had short black hair. Her voice was calm but carried the authority of command. Captain, Veltar said, the Korthak fleet is much larger than yours. They will not be easily discouraged. Understood, Council Leader. We did not expect this mission to be easy. But why risk your lives for us? Lisa asked. We are strangers to your people. Dr. Min and Captain Park exchanged a look. It was Dr. Min who answered, because that's what you do when people are dying and you can help. It's not complicated. Before anyone could respond, alarms sounded again. The tactical officer called out. Multiple Korthak ships are moving toward the human fleet. On the screens, they watched as War Chief Brockmol's vessels advanced. The Korthak ships were massive and ugly, designed only for war. Weapons bristled from every surface. Humans, came Brockmol's voice over the communication channel. Your time has expired. Leave now or face destruction. Captain Park's response was immediate. War Chief, we will not abandon our medical mission, but we have no desire to fight your people. Then you will die pointlessly. Brockmol growled. Attack formation. Destroy the invaders. Lisa watched in horror as the Korthak fleet began its assault. Plasma beams and missiles streaked through space toward the human ships. She expected to see the humans destroyed or fleeing. Instead, something incredible happened. The human warships moved with precision that amazed even Lisa's military advisors. They spread out in a complex formation, their weapons firing with deadly accuracy. But they did not attack the Korthak ships directly. What are they doing? Veltar asked. The tactical officer was studying his screens carefully. "Sir, they're shooting down the Korthak missiles and deflecting their plasma beams. They're not firing back at the ships themselves." Captain Park's voice came over the channel again. "War Chief Brackmole, we are defending ourselves only. We do not want to harm your crews." This seemed to anger the Korthak leader even more. "Cowards! Fight like warriors or run like prey." But the humans continued their defensive strategy. They protected their medical ships while avoiding any attacks that might kill Korthak soldiers. Lysa began to understand something about these strange aliens. "They really mean it," she whispered. "Their weapons are only for protection." The space battle continued for 2 hours. The Korthak threw everything they had at the human fleet, but could not break through their defenses. Meanwhile, the human medical ships continued moving toward Zephyr. Finally, one of the human medical vessels broke away from the fleet and began descending toward the planet. "This is medical transport, Hangang, requesting permission to land," came a new voice. "Permission granted," Veltar said quickly. "Landing Bay 7 is prepared for you." Lysa ran to the landing bay as fast as she could. She wanted to see these human doctors with her own eyes. When the transport ship landed, she was waiting. The ship was unlike anything she had seen. It looked like a hospital and a fortress at the same time. Medical symbols were painted on the sides, but she could also see armor, plating, and defensive weapons. The loading ramp opened, and humans in white medical uniforms began emerging. They moved with military precision, but carried medical equipment instead of weapons. Dr. Min Sujin was among them. She was shorter than Lysa expected, but moved with confidence and purpose. She approached Lysa directly. "Dr. Ventai, I presume? I'm glad to meet you in person." Lysa stared at the human woman. "You came. Even with the Korthak trying to kill you. You came. You came." "Of course we came. That's why we brought the warships." Dr. Min gestured to her team, who were already setting up medical equipment. "Now, tell me about this disease. We have work to do." As Lysa began explaining the symptoms and spread of the plague, more explosions lit up the sky above them. The space battle continued. But the human medical team worked calmly, as if the fighting was happening on another world. "Doesn't the battle worry you?" Lisa asked. Dr. Min looked up at the sky briefly, then back at her medical scanners. "Captain Park knows her job. I know mine. That's how we work." Lysa felt a new kind of respect for these humans. They had solved a problem that her peaceful people could never understand. How do you deliver aid when others try to stop you? How do you heal when enemies attack? The answer was simple, even if it seemed impossible to Zephyrian thinking. You bring healers and protectors together. You make them part of the same mission. "Dr. Min," Lysa said slowly, "I think I'm beginning to understand." The human doctor smiled. "Good. Now let's save your people." Above them, Captain Park's voice came over the communication system. "Medical teams, you are clear to begin operations. The Korthak have withdrawn to regroup." Dr. Min nodded to her team. "You heard the captain. Let's get to work." As the human medical team began setting up their equipment, Lysa realized that everything had changed. For the first time since the plague began, she had real hope. The humans had not brought warships instead of medical aid. They had brought warships because of medical aid. Dr. Lisa Ventai had never seen anything like the human medical facility. In just 6 hours, Dr. Min Sujin's team had transformed an empty warehouse into a complete hospital. The equipment seemed to work like magic, diagnosing diseases in minutes instead of days. "The pathogen is artificial," Dr. Min announced to the assembled medical staff. "This is not a natural plague. Someone made this weapon." Lysa felt sick to her stomach. A weapon? But who would create such a thing? I. Lysa. I. Dr. Min's expression was grim. Based on the genetic markers, it was probably developed by the Korthak Empire. Most likely, an accident during biological warfare research. That explains why War Chief Brakmol doesn't want witnesses, said Dr. Kim Tae-hyun, one of the human medics. He knows his people caused this. The human medical team worked with efficiency that amazed Lysa. They had treatments that could slow the disease, and machines that could help patients breathe when their nervous systems failed. For the first time in months, Zephyrians were recovering instead of just dying. But the work was dangerous. Every few hours, Korthak fighters would sweep down from orbit, trying to disrupt the medical operations. Each time, human defensive systems would drive them away, but the attacks were getting bolder. Dr. Min, Lysa said, as they worked on a young patient. Why do the Korthak keep attacking? We're trying to save lives, not fight a war. Dr. Min's hands never stopped moving as she operated the treatment machine, because they know that if we succeed, word will spread about what really caused this plague. The galactic community will hold them responsible. So they would rather let millions die than admit their mistake? Some people think reputation is more important than life. That's why we bring our own protection. As if summoned by her words, the building shook as explosions erupted outside. Through the windows, Lysa could see Korthak dropships landing in the city. Ground assault, reported a human soldier over the communication system. Multiple targets. They're heading for the medical facilities. Captain Park's voice crackled through the speakers. All medical staff. This is Overwatch. Continue operations. We have you covered. Dr. Min never looked up from her patient. You heard the captain. Keep working. Lysa stared at her. But they're attacking the hospital. That's why we have guards. Through the windows, Lysa watched human soldiers take defensive positions around the medical center. They wore white uniforms with red crosses, marking them as medical personnel, but they carried weapons and moved like warriors. The Korthak ground forces advanced through the city streets. They were large and heavily armed, with thick gray skin and massive weapons. They had come to destroy the medical facilities and eliminate all evidence of their bioweapon. The first Korthak squad reached the medical center within minutes. Lysa expected a terrible battle that would destroy everything they had built. Instead, she watched something extraordinary. The human guards did not meet the attack with overwhelming force. They used precise, careful tactics designed to protect the building and its patients. When Korthak soldiers fired rockets at the medical center, the humans shot down the rockets in midair. When the attackers tried to storm the entrances, defensive barriers rose from the ground to stop them. They're not trying to kill them, Lysa realized. Even now, they're trying to avoid unnecessary death. Dr. Min nodded. Medical Corps' doctrine. Minimum force necessary to protect patients. We're healers first. The battle continued around them, but inside the medical center, the work never stopped. Human doctors and Zephyrian physicians worked side by side, treating the plague victims with growing success. Then something unexpected happened. A group of Korthak soldiers appeared at the main entrance, but they were not attacking. They were carrying one of their own, badly wounded in the fighting outside. The human guards raised their weapons, but their commander held up a hand. Wait, he said. Medical personnel coming through. The Korthak soldiers looked confused and suspicious as they were allowed to enter the building. They set their injured comrade on the ground and backed away, hands on their weapons. Dr. Min approached them without hesitation. The wounded Korthak was bleeding badly from shrapnel wounds, his breathing shallow and rapid. Dr. Venthai, she called. I need assistance. Lysa hurried over, but stopped when she saw the patient. He's Korthak. He's one of the attackers. He's wounded, Dr. Min said simply. The human doctor knelt beside the injured soldier and began examining his wounds. The other Korthak soldiers watched in amazement as she worked to save their comrade's life. Why? One of them asked, in broken Standard Galactic. We attack you. We try to kill you. Why? You help? Dr. Min looked up from her work. Because I'm a doctor. I don't ask who you are before I try to save your life. She continued treating the wounded soldier with the same care she gave to Zephyrian patients. Lysa watched in wonder as the human doctor worked to save the life of someone who had been trying to kill her minutes before. The wounded Korthak soldier's breathing stabilized. His bleeding stopped. Dr. Min had saved him. The soldier's squad leader stared at Dr. Min for a long moment. Then he did something that shocked everyone present. He removed his helmet and set down his weapon. I am Sub-Commander Grak Toll, he said. I do not understand your ways, human doctor. What don't you understand? Dr. Min asked as she finished bandaging the patient. You could have let him die. You could have captured us for information. Instead, you heal him and let us go free. This makes no sense. Dr. Min stood up and looked the Korthak commander in the eyes. It makes perfect sense. Some things are more important than war. The Korthak soldiers carefully lifted their wounded comrade and prepared to leave, but Sub-Commander Grak Toll turned back to Dr. Min. What you do here, healing our enemy while we attack you. This is not weakness? No. Dr. Min said firmly. This is strength. It takes no courage to let someone die. It takes great courage to save them. The Korthak soldiers left the medical center without firing another shot. Through the windows, Lysa watched them carry their wounded comrade to safety. Will they come back? She asked. Dr. Min was already moving to the next patient. Maybe, but something changed here today. The attacks continued for several more hours. But Lysa noticed they were less fierce than before. Some Korthak squads seemed to avoid the medical facilities entirely. Others fought with less determination. As night fell over the Zephyrian capital, Captain Park's voice came over the communication system. All medical teams, this is Overwatch. The Korthak ground forces are withdrawing. You are clear to expand operations. Dr. Min smiled for the first time since she had arrived. Good. We have a lot of work to do. As they prepared to treat more patients, Lysa thought about what she had witnessed. The humans had not defeated the Korthak through superior firepower. They had done something far more powerful. They had shown their enemies what true strength looked like. And some of those enemies were starting to listen. War Chief Brakmal stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the tactical displays with growing frustration. For 3 days, his forces had tried to drive away the human medical fleet. For 3 days, they had failed. Report, he growled to his tactical officer. Sir, our ground assault was repelled. The humans have established secure zones around all major population centers. Our fighters cannot penetrate their defensive screens. Brakmal slammed his massive fist on the command console. He was the largest Korthak in the fleet, with battle scars covering his gray hide. He had won 100 victories and conquered dozens of worlds. But these humans fought unlike any enemy he had ever faced. They protect instead of attack, he said to himself. They heal our wounded instead of executing prisoners. What kind of warriors are they? His communications officer looked up nervously. Sir, we have reports from the ground teams. Sub-Commander Grak Toll requests permission to speak with you. Put him through. Grak Toll appeared on the screen. The sub-commander looked troubled, which was unusual for a Korthak soldier. War Chief, I must report something strange. The human doctors, they saved Korvash's life. What do you mean? He was dying from shrapnel wounds. The human female, their chief medical officer, operated on him personally. She could have let him die, or taken him prisoner. Instead, she healed him and let us go free. Brakmal's eyes narrowed. Impossible. No warrior shows mercy to enemies. I saw it with my own eyes, War Chief. And it's not just Korvash. They're treating wounded Korthak in their medical facilities, giving them the same care as their allies. The communication ended. leaving Brockmole staring at the blank screen. In Korthok culture, showing weakness to enemies meant death, but the humans seemed to see healing as strength, not weakness. "Sir," his tactical officer interrupted. "Captain Park is requesting communication." "The human commander? Put her through." Captain Park G1 appeared on the main screen. She looked tired but determined. Behind her, Brockmole could see the bridge of her ship, where humans worked calmly despite being outnumbered 3-1. "War Chief Brockmole," she said, "I want to propose something." "You wish to surrender?" he asked hopefully. "No. I want to offer you medical assistance for your wounded." Brockmole blinked in confusion. "What?" "Our medical teams report that several of your soldiers require ongoing treatment for their injuries. We're prepared to continue that treatment. No questions asked." "This is a trick," Brockmole said immediately. "You want to weaken my forces." Captain Park's expression remained calm. "War Chief, I'm going to tell you something that might surprise you. We know your people created the bioweapon that's killing the Zephyrians." Brockmole felt his blood turn cold. "You cannot prove that. We don't need to prove it. We're not here to judge you or punish your people. We're here to stop the dying. All of it. Including your soldiers who are suffering from injuries they received fighting us." "Why?" Brockmole demanded. Captain Park was quiet for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was gentle but firm. "Because someone has to break the cycle, War Chief. Someone has to choose healing over hurting. Today, that someone is us." The communication ended, leaving Brockmole alone with his thoughts. He looked around his bridge at his officers. They were all warriors, trained from birth to fight and conquer. But none of them understood what was happening here. "War Chief," his weapons officer said, "should we prepare for a final assault?" Brockmole stared at the tactical display showing the human fleet. Such a small force, but they had accomplished something his massive armada could not. They had changed the rules of war itself. "Sir," the weapons officer prompted. "Stand down," Brockmole said quietly. "Sir?" "I said, stand down," Brockmole roared. "All ships, maintain position but do not attack." His bridge crew exchanged confused looks, but they obeyed. For the first time in days, the space around Zephyr grew quiet. Hours passed. Brockmole paced his bridge, thinking about what the human captain had said. Someone has to break the cycle. Choose healing over hurting. His thoughts were interrupted by another communication request. "Sir, it's Dr. Min Sujin, the human medical commander. Put her through." The human doctor appeared on screen. She looked as tired as Captain Park, but her eyes held the same determination. "War Chief Brockmole, I understand you've ordered your forces to stop attacking our medical facilities. For now," he said carefully, "I want to thank you for that. It means we can save more lives." "Including the lives of my soldiers," he said. "Yes, including them. Doctor." Min leaned forward slightly. "War Chief, I want to ask you something. The bioweapon affecting the Zephyrians. Do your people have an antidote?" Brockmole's jaw tightened. "What makes you think we have such a thing?" "Because anyone developing biological weapons always creates countermeasures first. It's basic safety protocol." For a long moment, Brockmole said nothing. Finally, he spoke. "Yes, we have an antidote. Will you share it with us?" "Why should I?" Dr. Min's expression remained calm. "Because you're not a murderer, War Chief. You're a soldier. Soldiers fight other soldiers, not innocent civilians dying from disease." "The Zephyrians are not innocent," Brockmole said, but his voice lacked conviction. "The children are," Dr. Min said simply. "The millions of children who had nothing to do with whatever border dispute started this mess." Brockmole thought of his own children back on the Korthak homeworld. Young warriors in training. But still, children. What would he feel if they were dying from a plague while their enemies debated whether to help them? "If I give you this information," he said slowly, "what guarantee do I have that you won't use it against my people?" "You have my word as a doctor," Dr. Min said. "I swear by my oath to heal, that this antidote will be used only to save lives, never to create weapons." Something in her voice convinced him. This human doctor meant exactly what she said. "Very well," Brockmole said. "I will transmit the antidote formula to your medical teams." "Thank you, War Chief. This will save millions of lives." After the communication ended, Brockmole sat heavily in his command chair. His weapons officer approached cautiously. "Sir, are you certain about this decision?" Brockmole looked at his subordinate. "Tell me, Commander, what is the difference between a warrior and a butcher?" "Sir, a warrior fights for honor. A butcher kills because he can. Today, I choose to be a warrior." Within hours, human medical teams across Zephyr began producing the antidote. The plague that had killed millions finally began to retreat. Patients who had been dying were suddenly recovering. Cities that had been silent began to sing again. But something else was happening too. Reports came in from across the system that Korthak soldiers were helping to distribute medicine instead of destroying medical facilities. Sub-commanders were requesting permission to assist human medical teams. Brockmole realized that the humans had done something incredible. They had not defeated his forces through superior firepower. They had defeated them through superior humanity. And somehow, that made him feel like he had won something too. 3 weeks after the humans arrived, Dr. Lisa Ventai walked through the streets of her capital city for the first time in months. Children played in the gardens again. Music filled the air. The plague was over. She found Dr. Min Soo-jin in the main medical center, updating patient records. The human doctor looked tired, but satisfied. Around them, Zephyrian and human medical staff worked together, sharing knowledge and techniques. "The last patient was released this morning," Lisa reported. 0 new cases. In 72 hours. Dr. Min smiled. "It's over then. Your people are safe. Thanks to you. Thanks to all of you." Through the window, they could see something that would have been impossible to imagine just weeks before. Korthak soldiers were working alongside human medical teams, helping to distribute medicine to remote settlements. "I still don't understand how this happened," Lisa said. "War Chief Brockmole was ready to destroy your entire fleet. Now his soldiers are helping us heal." Dr. Min set down her tablet and looked thoughtful. "Sometimes the best way to defeat an enemy is to show them they don't have to be your enemy. Is that a human military strategy? It's a human medical strategy. We learned long ago that fighting symptoms doesn't cure the disease. You have to treat the cause." The door opened, and Captain Park Ji-won entered. She had just come from another meeting with Korthak commanders, coordinating joint security operations. "Ladies," she said with a nod, "War Chief Brockmole wants to speak with both of you." They made their way to the government building, where an extraordinary scene awaited them. War Chief Brockmole stood beside Council Leader Veltar, both reviewing plans for permanent medical stations throughout Zephyrian space. Brockmole looked up as they entered. The massive Korthak warrior seemed different somehow, less angry, more thoughtful. "Dr. Min Soo-jin," he said, "I wanted to speak with you before you leave." "We're not leaving yet, War Chief. There's still work to do." "Yes, but when you do leave, I want you to know something." He paused, struggling with words that did not come easily to a warrior. "You have taught me that strength and compassion are not opposites. They can be the same thing." Dr. Min bowed slightly. "You taught me something too, War Chief. Sometimes the bravest thing a warrior can do is put down his weapon. My government will not like what has happened here," Brockmole admitted. "They sent me to destroy evidence of our bioweapon research. Instead, I helped you save the people it was meant to kill." Captain Park stepped forward. "What will you tell them?" "The truth. That the Korthak Empire, created a weapon that killed millions of innocent people, and that we helped fix what we broke. He straightened to his full, imposing height. If they want to court-martial me for that, so be it. They won't, Doctor, Min said confidently, because the entire galaxy now knows what really happened here, and they also know that when it mattered, the Korthak chose to help instead of harm. Over the following days, ships from across the galaxy began arriving in the Zephyr system. Not warships, but medical vessels, supply transports, and diplomatic craft. Word had spread about the cooperation between humans, Zephyrians, and Korthak. Ambassador Chen Wei-Ming arrived to establish formal diplomatic relations. Lysa watched him address the Galactic Assembly via long-range communication. "Fellow sapients," he said, "what happened in the Zephyr system proves something important about our galaxy. When faced with a crisis, we can choose to compete or cooperate. We can choose to build walls or build bridges." The ambassador gestured toward a display showing human, Zephyrian, and Korthak medical teams working together. The humans didn't bring warships instead of medical aid. They brought warships because of medical aid. They understood that sometimes, to protect healers, you must be willing to fight those who would harm them. He paused, looking directly into the camera. But they also understood that the best victory is when your former enemies become your allies in saving lives. Months later, Lysa stood in the new Tri-Species Medical Institute that had been built where the Human Emergency Medical Center once operated. Human technology, Zephyrian healing wisdom, and Korthak strength had combined to create something greater than any single species could achieve alone. Dr. Min approached her, carrying reports from their latest joint medical mission to the Rigelian colonies. "How are our patients?" Lysa asked. "Recovering well. The Korthak security teams ensured our medical ships reached the planet safely. No interference from raiders or pirates." "Wrong. Lysa smiled. It still amazed her how natural it had become to see Korthak warriors protecting medical missions instead of attacking them. "Dr. Min," she said, "I have a question I've been wanting to ask for months." "Go ahead." "That first day, when you explained why humans bring weapons to deliver medicine, did you know it would work? Did you know the Korthak would eventually join us?" Dr. Min was quiet for a moment, watching through the window as human, Zephyrian, and Korthak medical students learned from each other. "Honestly, no. We hoped for the best, but planned for the worst. That's the human way. And if War Chief Brakmal had never changed his mind, if he had continued attacking, then we would have protected our patients for as long as possible, and we would have saved as many lives as we could." Lysa nodded, understanding finally why the humans had succeeded where others failed. They didn't bring warships hoping to fight. They brought warships hoping never to need them. "Dr. Min," she said, "I think I understand now what true strength is." "What's that?" "True strength is being so committed to healing that you're willing to fight for it. But being so committed to life that you're willing to stop fighting the moment your enemy becomes your ally." Dr. Min smiled. "Now you're thinking like a human." Outside, another medical convoy was preparing to depart for a crisis on the rim worlds. The ships bore the symbols of all three species, the crystal harmony of Zephyr, the protective strength of Korthak, and the Red Cross of Human Medical Corps. As Lysa watched the convoy depart, she knew they would face whatever waited for them with the same combination of healing skill and protective power that had saved her world. They expected medical aid and received human warships. In the end, they got both and learned they were never meant to be separate things at all.